Our sun has moved into Aquarius, my friend. It is Aquarius season. We've got our beautiful planet of Mars heating things up, and we've got Mercury having us chase our tail. This, my friend, is our week ahead in Sidereal Astrology for the week of February 12th through the 18th. Hey, my friend. Welcome back to the channel. Danny C. Mooney's here, spiritual healer, intuitive astrologer, helping you heal your past, present, and future. My friend, I'm excited to share all that is happening in our sky this week because we've got a new season. It is time to express that individuality. It is time to raise your freak flag, my friend. It is time to follow the beat of your own rhythm. Yes, we are talking about Aquarius season. So let's dive into our forecast for the week and learn a little bit about Aquarius energy, what we can use this energy for, and what else is happening in our sky this week. It's actually pretty calm with our sun. We do have our sun not really hanging out with anybody, just very much like an Aquarius energy would. No, that's not completely true. But Aquarius is an air element, meaning it is more mental energy. So you may find yourself during this season, which is February 13th, all the way through March 13th. You may find there's a little bit more mental energy happening over this period. Your thoughts, there's all kinds of thoughts, and not all of them are the best, as we know. But there are some thoughts in here that I want you to allow yourself to explore. And that is the visionary thought. That is the idealistic thoughts. That is the ones that are helping to shift, to change, to raise, to allow for improvement within the areas of our life. My friend, Aquarius energy is ruled by the planet Uranus. And Uranus he can be a little, he's not like Mercury where he's the trickster. He's more like, I don't really care. I don't really care. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to do my thing. You do your thing. And so we may see more of this coming out in this season where we're like, yeah, not I heard a client today say, not my monkeys, not my circus, right? Not my circus, not my monkeys. Cool. Glad you're doing that, but I'm going to do my own thing. And being 100% solid in that, not really caring. However, Aquarius energy also wants to be or help or contribute to the greater good of all. And it does so by this intellectual ideas of how to make things better. So we'll see a lot of logic coming through here where it's like, this makes logical sense, even though it may not fit into this moment, into this time, into this place. And you're like, that's kind of out there. Yes, because Aquarius energy is here to shift us, to raise us, to push us forward, to progress us. So, if you got Aquarius energy, meaning you've got your sun, moon, or rising sign in Aquarius, or you have a stellium, or maybe even just some focused energy with Aquarius, then this, my friend, is your season. So, let's dive into more about what is going on in our sky here. As you can see, our sun is starting off at the very, very beginning of our week here on Monday at 29 degrees Capricorn. And then you'll see within a few hours here, we're going to see us move into Aquarius and begin our Aquarius journey. I'm sorry, not in a few hours. It's in a few days. I was thinking that we were on the 13th for some reason. We begin our week on the 12th. My friends, it has been a crazy couple of weeks, and I don't know if I'm coming or going. So here we go. There we are. Sun moves into Aquarius here at 5 a.m. on the 13th. You can see 0 degrees. Our sun is in here. Okay, so I can zoom this in and we can see it a little bit better. So you can see right here, our sun is not really connecting to anything, right? It's 13 degrees away from Saturn, and it's, what is that, 22 degrees away from um, Mercury and these guys here. So we don't really see the sun interacting with anything in a conjunction. Although, if we look here, we still have that square to Uranus that we've talked about in our past forecast. So we can still get a little bit, we can still see some of that energy coming through this week, and then it's gonna tail off by the end of this week. So we're not really gonna see the sun interacting with anything once we move this Uranus energy out of the way. So we've got that. Now let's take a look at a couple of other things that we have going on, because we do have these guys over here that are hanging out in Capricorn. So I do want to talk about Mars and Pluto conjunction that we're going to see. And also, actually, we're seeing here, and also this Mercury energy. So let's go back. And we can see here that Mars and Pluto have been, remember, we've been talking about this. They've been getting closer and closer and closer and closer. So here we are. Mars is conjunct Pluto, and its exact conjunction is on the 13th. So we've seen this from the beginning of the month on the 6th, and we'll see this all the way through the 22nd, with it peaking this week on the 13th. So as I've said in the past, this is where there's just an incredible increase in our ambition, in our quest for power, in our drive and motivation. There can be a tendency here to want to step in more into power, where we are influencing maybe from a more lower vibration place. Or on the flip side, we could be influencing from a very positive place, right? A very impactful, inspirational place. Remember, nothing is positive or negative. It's the energy that we're putting towards it or with it. There could definitely be a little bit of power struggles or power plays here with the Pluto and Mars energy. So it could be some power plays with a boss or some type of authority figure that we might see, maybe even some selfishness or ruthless behavior. We can see sometimes with Pluto, some like that selfishness, but also not harming others, right? Like we're being selfish. And so I have this term called consciously selfish. Like there are times where I am consciously selfish, meaning I know that I need to take care of me. I need to put me first. And that is it's a very conscious decision, right? Instead of my past Danny, who used to be the people pleaser, right? Who used to put everybody before her. She's learned that, wait, Danny matters. Danny is matters. Danny does matter. And so because of that, it's being conscious that I am choosing myself. Now, a lot of people think that selfishness is a bad thing. It can be if we're harming or hurting others intentionally, okay? Right? And there's some weeds in there, but as an overall picture, we want to choose ourselves, and it is not in fact really being selfish when we are choosing ourselves, because when we choose ourselves, people that are I'm going to use these words in quotes here, awakened, healed, should respect and understand that you need the space, okay? Respect and understand that you need the space. This is also a really good time, though, to work independently, to work on something that you are passionate about, something that you're really wanting to bring into fruition. This is a really good time to do that. This is also a really good time for competition as well. So really, really, this is that peak energy that we're going to feel this week. And then it's going to taper off as it moves through on the 22nd. So that Mars and Pluto conjunction. And then we've also got Mars is still hanging out with Venus here. And again, that's one of the things that we talked about in the past is that Venus energy. And so there's a lot of that drive as we enter, you know, this this time of the month that we have decided is, the only day that we can express our love for others. Now, don't get me wrong. I absolutely believe that we should be honoring and respecting each other in love. And I also believe that we can do that more often and not necessarily just on a day that somebody decided we should do it. And I've also don't agree to the idea that it has to be done in a particular way. As a matter of my fact, my love and I, we don't really do anything for this upcoming holiday where all the flowers and all the candy and all the dinner dates happen. We actually choose to do that once a month together as a couple of going out and hanging out with each other and spending time and choosing to love each other every single day and every single month. Okay, moving on. So there is that energy coming through. We saw that coming through last week. It's going to peak on the 22nd. So we'll see that peaking next week. But this is more of that increased charisma, that really social energy, that desire to, hang out with people. And being able to tackle kind of the mundane things that maybe don't really inspire us or don't really they're a little bit more harder to do. Let's just say that. There's also there's a nice desire for more intimate relations. And so whether that's in the bedroom or in conversation, there is this desire to be more intimate with people, with your partner in general. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at what else we have Mars doing, because Mars is going to be making this square over here to Jupiter coming in. There we are on the 17th. So Mars is going to be making the square. Now, remember, a square is just the energy of it's a little bit more tension. It's not necessarily as it's not the same as an opposition, which is the direct opposite of each other. A square is I'm kind of with you, but I'm not with you. And that creates a really hard, a really hard aspect. Okay. Really hard, uh, situation, energy wise, it's kind of it's a little tense. And so with this particular one though, because we're talking about Mars and Jupiter, and these energies they're working together, but they're also kind of working against each other. They're kind of in that more of a realm. The energy to start and initiate things, projects, new habits, new opportunities is great, right? The opportunity to take a little bit more risk is actually really encouraged, and even in a larger scale. So taking risk even in a larger scale. We definitely want to make sure that we are using forethought and strategy here, because one of the things with both of these planets is Mars is the warrior, right? Mars wants to go fight the good fight, and Jupiter wants to grow and expand what is there, what is present. And so we want to make sure that we're not just growing to grow, right? That we're actually growing something with some forethought, with some strategy, be very strategic about how we're going to do it, right? We're not just going to go conquer the mountain. We're going to notice the ways in which we can conquer the mountain. So we're going to, it's twofold here. This is also really good energy to take on any adversaries. I want to say adversaries, but adversaries. that you may be threatened by, whether that is an opponent, whether that is seeing somebody as opponent, which can often happen here too, is we can start to see people as opponents. And so want you to be mindful of that. Like it's us versus them, right? It's him versus me, right? That kind of energy. Like we want to be really cautious of that, but also noticing that if there is adversaries, adversaries, I can never get that right, adversaries that you want to, that you're working to overcome, whether that is something in a different situation, then this is a really good time to kind of like go after that and fight for it and have the strength and the courage to be able to do it, as well as the support. Jupiter is a very optimistic planet, and so you've got that like support behind you with Jupiter and Mars really pushing you forward. I am going to say just make sure that you are choosing your fights carefully here, because it can get hot really fast. It can get heavy really fast. And so I want you to be mindful of that as well. Like, again, what are you staking your claim on? Like, are you really going to, put your stake on the ground, like flag it on the ground and say, yep, this is what I'm coming in at. I'm not budging, right? We want to make sure that we are careful about when we're doing that and when we're not doing it. I know oftentimes it can feel like I need to stake my claim on everything. I need to stake my claim on everything. And you know what happens? And I was just talking to a client about this, is where she used to get really frustrated with her boss about different things that they were doing to kind of like derail projects, right? Derail situations. And she's like, it doesn't even, I just like, I don't even, it doesn't even bother me anymore. And it's not that she's like just laying down and like just taking it kind of idea. She's actually being very empowered here by saying like, you know what? I'm not going to step into that. I'm not going to get all crazy because you've decided to do this. So I'm just going to step back here and observe. And that's kind of when we first start encountering these things, because I know that when I first started awakening and seeing the world in a whole different way, one of the things I realized was um everybody became like an enemy, right? It was like, you're doing this and you're doing that, and it was like all of this, like, you're not going to invade my peace, right? It was very much like protective, like I had to protect the ground. And that's absolutely where we begin, because we start to notice where we haven't protected our ground. And so I want you to also notice, though, that you don't have to fight everything. You can actually be like, yeah, you know what, I am not going to invest my energy into this. I love my mother-in-law. You might have heard me talk about her before, but there's sometimes where I see her engaging in situations, and I'm like, why would you invest your energy in your neighbor there down the street? Like, why would you do that? There's no need to engage so much energy and get you into a fuss and a frenzy and keep you up at night simply because of something they did or said. Like, there's some things that you're like, yeah, you know what? Not going to go there. And so just, notice that as we are moving through with this energy, because this is going to be here for a couple of weeks. So we have this starting on the 17th, and we'll see this through March 7th. So we'll see this for a couple of weeks here, where there could be some of that energy coming up. Okay. I would also say, burn this energy up. Burn this energy up. So you might want to look at where Mars is hanging out in your chart, to see where that energy might come up for you, or what area of your life you might see that. All right, let's go ahead and go to the last one that I wanted to talk about, which is Mercury. And then we're going to talk about where our moon is hanging out this week. So our Mercury here, we come over here to Mercury. We can see he's been hanging out with a couple of different people. And we've talked about these in the past, but the one I want to point out this week that is coming into play is this one right here with Uranus. So we saw the sun making that square to Uranus, and now we're going to see Mercury making that square to Uranus. So let's talk a little bit about what that is, because we're going to see that through this week, beginning on Tuesday all the way through the beginning of next week. So Mercury and Uranus, they're both very playful And the word that I feel with them is very excitable type energy. So Mercury is known as the trickster, and Uranus is known as the rebellion, right? He's the rebel. And so these two energies together really create a lot of excitement and changing things up, changing your interactions, changing your daily routines. And so it's causing us to like shift things up in our day to day. There's also the energy of something unexpected, something happening, a change of plans, a change of focus, a change of moving through things. Like it's like we're in this energy and it can feel very unsettling, and it can allow us to kind of come in with some anxiety, right? Like, uh-oh. One of the things that I've noticed with anxiety is the deeper layer of, do I trust, do I think that I, right, can handle the situation that might unravel, or the unexpected, right? Am I going to be able to handle this? Am I going to be able to take care of this? Am I going to be able to do this if X happens, right? So anxiety is definitely in the future, it's future focused. And so right, that's why a lot of the times with anxiety, they tell us to come into the present, right? You want to come into the present, and we want to like ground our energy in because we're future focused. So this energy can feel a little bit unsettling and can bring up some of that anxiousness. So I'm giving you kind of that heads up, not to say that you need to go out and get anxious, my friend, but to tell you to be aware. Is that anxiety coming up because of the future focused thinking that may be coming because of the Aquarius energy, because of Mercury, making this connection with Uranus? That can definitely be the case. So I'm giving you that heads up, right? We work with this energy. We don't work against it. We work with it. It doesn't rule our life. We flow with it. We are always in control. So the things that I'm going to say is take extra time with making plans or attending to the more details, right? The details of things, the details of a project, of paperwork. So all of my lovely, beautiful followers and fans of the podcast and fans of the channel. Again, if you did not know, these forecasts are on YouTube at Keeping It Real with Sidereal, and on the podcast, the Cosmic Mystic Podcast. You can catch it on both of those spaces. So whether you want to watch my funny faces, as somebody likes to tell me, or you want to see the charts that are coming up, or you just want to hear it, you can definitely get it on both of those channels. But for my fellow friends and followers that work with contracts, that work with negotiations, right? Pay attention to those details, because we might be missing things with this energy because we can be very easily distracted. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about with Mercury and Uranus here is Mercury does rule our communication. So there could definitely be some mishaps in communication. So this, reminds me a little bit of a Mercury retrograde, right? Where we have to pay attention to that details in contracts and negotiations, right? Paperwork, and our communication, travel plans delayed, things unexpectedly coming up. So this could feel a little bit like that energy. So I want to bring that into your awareness so that we can, again, have that foresight and put some things in place to make sure we're covering all the things. Check your plans twice, avoid making very bold statements. And with that Mars and Jupiter energy and that Mars and Pluto energy, that can definitely be something we want to do, right? And we're in Aquarius season, Aquarius ruled by Uranus, that we might just want to make those bold statements. And I'm going to caution you to be very careful about the ones that you are making, because it can stir some things up. Okay. Overall, be flexible, my friend. Be open-minded. Allow yourself to flow with things, and maybe not be a little bit too rigid. Now, I'm going to raise my hand on that because I can definitely be too rigid. So let's take a final look at our last thing, which is our moon. So, our moon right here, we begin our week with the moon conjunct Neptune in Pisces. So, pay attention to those dreams. There's some messages in there for you, really good connection to source, to spirit, to the divine, to God, whatever it is, like right here, really beautiful energy connecting us with Venus and Mars. This is some really beautiful energy right here. We are kicking our week often, very dreamy, very relaxed, very chill. And as we move into the week, we've got Tuesday here with our moon conjunct Chiron, and this is kind of bringing up some old things, but also allowing us to shift out and into the new. So Tuesday is a really good healing day, really good opportunity to get some insights and to. It could also, though, I am going to say, bring up some old emotional wounds that are ready to be reviewed, to be looked at, to be understood, and to be released. And then we have our moon moving into Aries on February 14th, that day commonly known as Valentine's Day. We have our moon there, which is in Aries. And so Aries is a fiery energy, my friend. So, this is a very fiery day, meaning that our emotions are fast and quick and explosive. So, if something isn't going your way, it might be a complete temper tantrum, meltdown, or it can be over the top, um, excited, happy, right? Depending on where you're at, there's just a whole lot of really fiery energy here. So, I'm going to say it's like, it's like I'm thinking of like dating here. And so it's like what's coming forward is like somebody at the last minute like, nope, I'm not going out with you because I found another somebody to go out with." It's like, great, I'm going out with somebody else too, right? It's very much like, nope, done, moving on, especially with this Aquarius energy and the Aries moon energy. Now, when we get to Thursday, we're going to be all up in those. They're going to be amplified as we have this conjunction here with Jupiter. So, if something happens on that day, it's going to be amplified for you, probably for at least the next 24 hours, as we have our moon, with that Jupiter energy. Again, Jupiter expands whatever is present. So, if you're feeling great and ambitious and loving and happy and joyful, then all of that's going to be amplified for you. And if you're not feeling that way, all of that can be amplified. So, moving on, we move into on what is this? Friday, we move into the moon in Taurus. So the moon's going to slow down here. It's going to take a nice little break in this earth sign. Taurus loves all the comfort. So it's like, let's settle in. This is the Friday night, curled up on the couch with a blanket, delicious something to eat and drink. This is a chill, doing my own thing, a vibe we're feeling over the weekend into Saturday and then into Sunday. So we'll begin our new week in the energy of Gemini, which is kicking off that social energy. All right, my friend, that is your Sidereal Astrology Forecast for the week of February 12th, 2024. What energy are you looking forward to this week? Let me know down in the comments or head on over to Instagram and let me know over there at the Cosmic Mystic Podcast on Instagram, Cosmic Mystic Podcast. Let me know, my friend. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Remember to close your eyes and take a deep breath with me. And find peace.